Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you guys know or may not know, I used to cosplay a lot in my 20s. I am not a makeup artist at all, but these are my credentials. Yeah. So, I have just entered my 30s and I've noticed a change in my skin, and I no longer apply makeup the same way I used to. I have figured some things out as a girl who used to cosplay a lot. With that being said, let's jump into it and let me show you how to create the perfect base, the perfect foundation for your makeup. In this video, I'm going to try my best to cover all of my basics. As you can see, I did bring out various makeup products from my little makeup station in my bedroom. I am going to be going through blushes, I'm going to go through foundations, we're going to go through primers, serums, and setting sprays. So there is a lot to go through, okay? But that's what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to tell you everything that I know. So we're just going to jump into it. Before we apply anything, make sure to clean your face. It does wonders. Even just a rinse could do wonders. What also does wonders is having a good skincare routine prior to putting your makeup on. That also helps as well to lock in moisture into your skin. That way the makeup just sits on your skin a little better. I myself sometimes do my skincare routine prior to putting my makeup on, but sometimes that's a lot for me, I'm not gonna lie. So instead, I will lean more towards serums at the moment. I do like putting on a good serum prior to my makeup. It just makes my skin more hydrated and it makes the makeup stick to the skin a lot better and come out smoother. I've heard of people putting lotion on their face as well and then putting makeup on. I used to do that when I was a teenager, but lotion alone just doesn't really do it for me anymore. I'd rather do a serum. I just feel like it gets into the skin a little better at this point in my life, at this age, I guess. I personally like to, like I said, go for the serums. I'm really liking this Snow Mushroom Water Serum from, I don't even know how to say this. I'll put a picture of this product in the corner somewhere, but this is what we're using. I really like this one right now. The other one that I sometimes use is this one. I'll also include a picture. I'm gonna use the Snow Serum one because, like I said, this one's my favorite one. So all I did so far was rinse my face, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put this serum on. I did my skincare last night, and I'm just gonna rub it in essentially. So there we go. Sometimes when I have really dry spots, I like to do a little Vaseline on those spots, just something a little more heavy. And I'll just kind of dab it on. You don't want to put too much on, but just enough to where it's not flaky. Little fun fact about that tip is that Marilyn Monroe supposedly used to put Vaseline on her face and then put her makeup on, so thanks, Marilyn. We see you, girl. So now that our face is hydrated, as you can see, my face is a little shiny. It is crazy what even just a little hydration can do. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our beauty blender. I like to use a beauty blender. I've tried the silicone ones. I do not like them. I've tried using brushes to just kind of paint the foundation on it. Don't like it at all. I find the best tool to use is a beauty blender. Also, you want to make sure to wet it, like literally, and when I mean wet it, I mean put it under the sink and give it a couple squeezes, okay? So we went ahead and did that, and as you can see, the beauty blender has expanded. It's this big moist sponge now, which is exactly what we want. Now, they do sell different beauty blenders with different textures on them. I have seen one where the bottom of this here is a little more textured, and I feel like that would be more ideal for creased skin and like wrinkles and imperfections and stuff like that. I myself have a bit of a smoother complexion, so that didn't really work well for me, but I do recommend it to people who like struggle with acne, or if you have wrinkles, or just really textured skin in general. I feel like that would be more ideal for you. This, however, is just a basic beauty sponge. It's smooth all the way around. It's the same texture all the way around. So from here, we're going to talk about primers. So what a primer is, it's like when you paint a wall, you need a primer on it first in order for the paint to grab. Primer makeup is the same thing. We have some e.l.f. primers here. These do work great. I do like them when you're in a bind and you need to just go to the drugstore really quick and pick up a primer. This one's a good one. This one is hydrating face primer. I do gotta say, I do like the hydrating one a lot more than the poreless face primer. Again, with me and my skin, the older I'm getting, I'm realizing a lot of it has to do with just keeping my skin hydrated. But my ultimate favorite has been this one. It is Coconut Skin Smoothie Primer Moisturizer. So it's a primer and a moisturizer together. The primer that I'm going to use today is my favorite one. I'm just going to use all my favorites for this video, so count yourselves lucky and don't forget to like. So we put some primer on our beauty blender, and you can put it on, but I like to mix it with the foundation on the beauty blender as well. There's no right or wrong, guys. You can do this any way you want. Whatever works best for you, just do it. There's no like rules. There's no set rules. Be creative. See what works for you. We're gonna talk about some foundations here. When I was 20, I would go for a straight foundation. Now that I'm a little older, I actually prefer tinted moisturizer. I love, love, love this one. And again, I'll include a picture. It's Studio Makeup Tinted Moisturizer. I love this one. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one today, but you could also use foundations like L'Oreal, Angel Glow. This is a 4-in-1 tinted moisturizer, but when you go for a straight foundation, it is gonna be heavy, it is gonna be thick. And for me, I just feel like the straight foundation gets a little cakey, kind of maybe ages me a little bit. I don't know, I'm just not really liking how the straight foundation is setting on my skin lately. So I do gravitate more towards the tinted moisturizers, but let's go ahead and use my favorite one. Like I said, we're gonna put that on there. And from here, we're gonna finally put our foundation on. So I just kind of dab it around, kind of mixing it all as I go. Does that make sense? We're just gonna pat it on. A lot of people kind of smear. I don't do that. I personally don't like the look of that, so instead I dab. I just feel like you get more coverage that way, and it just looks better, in my opinion. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying to be strategic with my beauty blender by angling it certain ways so that I can get creases and just make sure that everything is covered, especially around my nose area. Don't forget the neck. We're gonna talk about some concealers. I've never had any issues with any concealer that I've ever gotten. I would feel like that they're all the same. However, I do lean more towards this Tarte Ultra Creamy one because it is creamy. The way that it sits on your skin, it feels very natural, very light, and it does the job of concealing what you need it to conceal. We'll talk about placement, I guess. So the placement is, of course, your blemishes and dark circles under the eyes, of course. There's a lot of people that like to contour and create illusions, which by all means you can do. But there's various ways to do that. For example, I like to put a little concealer right here because I just feel like it opens up my eyes more, for example. I do have more of a round face, so I do like to put a little concealer here as well. And from here, we're just gonna go ahead and blend it in. And again, I'm just gonna continue dabbing. Okay, there we go. As you can see, we're getting some illusion effects here. So you can really see where I put that concealer on. So there's our concealer, we're done there. So from here, you can do contour. Let's touch a little on contour. Contour comes in different forms. You have powder forms, you have liquid forms. You also have some cream forms as well. For contouring, they also have things like this. This is a 3-step to sculpt NYX contour palette. When I was first getting into contour when I was in my 20s, this tool was actually very handy for learning how to do that. I definitely recommend it if you want to learn how to contour. The formula isn't the best, but it's not the worst. Now, you can contour with bronzer, which I feel like is very common. I also feel like there's a lot of shimmer in bronzer as well, and sometimes shimmer I feel like ages me as well. I don't know, like I just don't like the way it sits. I feel as though the sparkles accentuate the blemishes to an extent, if that makes sense. I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's just how I personally feel. But they also have bronzers that have no sparkles in them whatsoever, and this is a matte bronzer that I have right now that I actually really like. These two are my favorite contours to use at the moment. This one I really like. I use this one a lot if I'm not gonna use this one. And this little thing is cool because it opens up and you got a little highlighter, you got a little blush, and at the bottom is your little contour. I think this little thing is so handy, especially if you just want to pick it up and put it in your purse. I think it's very convenient. I actually like this one so much. I have two, so we're gonna use this one. To apply this, I like to use this little brush. It's pretty fluffy. It's a little angled. I like to pinch the bristles just to have a little more control over the brush. And I'm just gonna get some of that product on there. And from here, we're just gonna go ahead and contour. I won't get into placement too much about contour because it's really based off of face shape and stuff like that. If you're looking for more contouring tips, let me know. I will do my best to try to address them if that's what you're looking for. I don't know. I personally don't contour a whole lot, but if I do, I'm definitely contouring my jaw. Because like I said, round face girly problems. When I contour, I like to think of it as if I'm painting a picture and I'm like adding shadow, if that makes sense. And as you can see, my jaw looks way sharper now. Now that contour is done, let's talk about blush. Now this little gadget here that I was telling you earlier has a really great blush, so we could use that. Some other blushes that I've been using lately are my Juicy Couture blushes, which I got on sale for like $3, I think, at Marshall's. And I have been using this one a lot, and I really like how creamy these are. There's also some other products like this one is a blush and an illuminator. So you got a blush on one side and you got an illuminator on the other side. I personally don't use illuminators too often, but you can use them. I feel like when I do use them, I'm going to like a festival or like a concert, or I'm wanting to look just very vibrant and like girly pop, you know? There's also powder blushes as well that I actually really like, and I do have a lot of powder blushes too. But I don't want to lie to y'all and not say that I haven't been using this one, because I have, so I'm gonna keep using this one because I'm just really digging this Juicy Couture blush. Sorry guys. So that's where I like to put my blush, like a little clown. I will use my beauty blender for it, and this time I'm using the bottom of it rather than this pointy part, but I will be using the bottom of it now. And just like how I did the foundation, I'm just gonna keep dabbing. And I'm going to dab up. That way it kind of lifts a bit, looks like a lift, if that makes sense. I also tend to have a lot of redness down here, like my face gets really red. I get really embarrassed a lot because I have anxiety. So I'll put blush higher up on my cheeks just to kind of, again, create the illusion that my cheekbones are higher and that my face isn't so round, even though it is. There we go. And again, we're aiming for natural look today. I don't know if I said that already. Maybe I should have said that earlier, but we're aiming for natural today. I just want to give y'all the basics, you know what I mean? Now that blush is done, so we're coming towards the end now. This is where we start setting everything. So what I like to do, depending on what I'm doing and what I'm getting ready for, if I have like a long day ahead of me, or if I'm in a costume, I'll typically put some setting spray here. I'll just do a little spritz, and then I will put some powder on top of that, and then another spritz of setting spray. I would recommend doing that like if you go to a concert, if you go to an event, if you're going somewhere where you might be sweaty or something like that, that's where I would do that. However, I'm not doing anything crazy today, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just gonna go straight into setting powder. I have come across so many people that actually don't use setting powder at all. And then when they ask me like, how do I do my makeup? And I say setting powder, they're like, I don't wanna use that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, if this is what you're looking for, this is what you gotta do, you know what I mean? So here are some setting powders that I personally like to use where it doesn't feel like you're wearing setting powder. There's this one, which is really, really, really good. I do like this one a lot. I try not to use it too much because I like it that much. But this one is actually a white setting powder. There is no pigmentation, it's just white. And I really like this one. It doesn't show up white when you put it on. It just looks like not so heavy, like you don't have a lot of makeup on, if that makes sense. This one is probably like my ultimate favorite that is pigmented, and this is Flower. I don't know if that's like the brand or what, but I'll include the picture, of course. And this is what that looks like, a little more pigmented. I really, really like this powder a lot. This is Ben Nye. If you don't know what Ben Nye is, it is a professional costume makeup brand. It is white, but it doesn't show up white. It really sets your makeup in. This is what I use for cosplay. This is what I use for costumes. When I do my Harley Quinn costumes and I do the full clown white face paint and I need it to stay all day, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm putting on. I'm gonna show you the Ben Nye one. I'm gonna show you that the white doesn't show up like you're thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I get the fluffiest brush that I have, which is this one, and we're just gonna apply the powder. Oh, yeah, so I dab the brush with the powder as well. Again, I know there are people that just kind of go like this. I don't like the way that looks, so I just dab everything on. So there we go, we have our powder on. Now this is where you put your setting spray. You wanna make sure you hold it a distance away from your face, that way you can get a good spray. Ta-da! Sometimes to add a little zest, I'll use some of this little glow mist. And I just feel like that really just makes everything look real natural and just really sets it in. But yeah, as you can see, I'm looking pretty flawless. All angles, girl, all angles. So that is how we do our perfect flawless foundation. On a little bit of texturized skin, because we're older, but we're not like old, but we're aging. I really hope I covered a lot of stuff with you guys. I really hope that this helps you. I really hope I answered all of your questions. From here, I'm just gonna do a little NYX eyebrow gel. Also use a little mascara. And we're gonna top off with a little gloss. And there you have it. There is our flawless foundation makeup base. Here's a little close-up. I feel like we're looking pretty flawless, if I do say so myself. These techniques and these products have worked really well for me. I hope I could give you some advice. I hope I could teach you something new. I hope I could give you some helpful tips, some helpful tricks. If you have any of your own tricks and tips, feel free to leave them in the comments in case somebody else might need them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.